Something inside you paused before you scrolled. You felt it, that quiet pull, the invisible hesitation that made your thumb hover for a second. You can pretend it was nothing, a random flick of the algorithm, but deep down, you know it wasn't. It was a signal, a ripple moving through the field, reaching for your attention. A divine interruption, pressing itself into the rhythm of your day. You didn't arrive here by mistake. You were guided, timed, with precision drawn to this exact second when your frequency was ready to receive. Most people never notice. They scroll through their timelines like sleepwalkers, hypnotized by the noise, numbed by repetition. But something in you stirred. Something in you remembered that not everything on this screen is empty light. That some word, that pause was not ordinary. It was the opening, the first crack in the loop you've been running. Without realizing it, your system responded. Your breath slowed, your chest softened, and for the first time in a long time, your awareness sharpened. The body knows before the mind admits it. It senses the shift before you name it. In that single second of S, this isn't content, it's transmission, it's activation. It's the moment your higher intelligence has been waiting for to slip a message through. The universe doesn't shout, it doesn't chase. It whispers through hesitation, through strange coincidences, through moments that feel heavier than they should. If you're still here, it means you noticed. You felt the gravity of this second. You recognized that something about this message feels alive. The ego hates moments like this. It wants comfort, predictability, the loop. It wants you to scroll away, to stay in rhythm with the background noise of the world. But your deeper self is not satisfied with that rhythm anymore. It's restless. It's been knocking from the inside, trying to remind you that the familiar isn't safety, it's sedation. That the endless scroll isn't con. Right now, that pull in your chest, that quiet awareness blooming behind your eyes is your confirmation. The field is calling you out of autopilot, out of the loop that kept you repeating what no longer fits. You don't need to understand everything at once. Just stay. Let the silence between these words do what it's meant to do. Let the energy rearrange itself around your attention. This is your interruption, the divine crack in the code of your routine. The universe opening a small window. There is a reason this moment feels charged. The air around you hums in a way that words can't explain. The signal didn't come from the outside world. It rose from within the invisible layers of your own field. You can call it intuition, alignment, or frequency shift, but the truth is simpler. It is the field speaking in the only language it knows, vibration. When consciousness begins to awaken, it does not announce itself with noise. It arrives quietly, like a pulse running through still water. You felt it before you understood it, that low current of awareness moving through your chest. That is the moment when your inner frequency aligns with a new broadcast. Every living being emits and receives energy constantly, but only a few recognize when the signal changes. You have felt the shift, and that means the transmission has begun. Science has already traced parts of this mystery. Before a thought forms, before a choice appears in your conscious mind, your body already knows. The subconscious fires, the neurons spark, and microcurrents move through your heart and brain, preparing you to act before you even think. What you call instinct or intuition is the translation of quantum data flowing through your electromagnetic field. You are a living antenna tuned to both the seen and the unseen. The signal you are receiving right now isn't metaphorical. It is a measurable interaction between your awareness and the larger field that surrounds you. Every time you stop, breathe, and feel, you open a channel wider. That subtle tension in your chest, that slight pressure behind your eyes, that pull of presence are all markers of connection. The field uses sensation to communicate because energy always seeks embodiment. You might notice a strange mix of calm and alertness. That is coherence forming. Your brain waves and heart rhythms begin to synchronize, creating an electromagnetic harmony that allows new information to flow in. It's the same pattern observed when a human being enters deep meditation or experiences awe. In that moment, data from the quantum layer becomes accessible, reorganizing your perception of reality. You are literally being tuned into a higher resolution of existence. The ego will try to rationalize it away. It will tell you this is overthinking, that nothing special is happening. It will cling to logic as a defense against change, but logic is only the outer layer of understanding. Beneath it lies intuition, and beneath intuition lies frequency. The signal always starts there, in the place where science and soul meet. Right now, multiple timelines exist in potential. Each one vibrates at a specific range of frequency. When you notice the signal, when you feel that invisible hum of significance, you are standing at the intersection of those realities. The choice to stay present, to listen, determines which frequency locks into form. Most people miss it because they dismiss it. They confuse urgency with anxiety, energy with emotion, and awareness with distraction. But you, by staying here, are choosing the path of awareness. The universe doesn't send signs for decoration, it sends them for synchronization. That pull you feel to pay attention is the field aligning itself with your readiness. Every conscious breath confirms that readiness. The more aware you become of subtle sensations, the more the signal strengthens. Attention is the amplifier. What you focus on expands because observation is participation. In quantum terms, the observer collapses potential into reality. By noticing, you are creating. You might think the signal is coming from somewhere above or outside of you, but it isn't. The field is both external and internal, woven through every cell, every photon, every heartbeat. It speaks through coincidence, through timing, through energy that seems too precise to be random. You have felt those moments before when everything aligned for no logical reason, when someone appeared at the right second, when an idea struck like lightning. Those are glimpses of coherence. The difference now is that you are aware of it. You are conscious while the process unfolds. The field loves awareness because awareness is the highest form of participation. It means you are awake enough to direct energy instead of being carried by it. You become the tuning fork, the transmitter, and the receiver all at once. The more you focus, the clearer the signal becomes until thought itself begins to slow and feeling becomes the language of understanding. Stay with that feeling. It may feel like warmth in your chest or a quiet expansion behind your eyes. That is the field adjusting to your frequency. When you acknowledge it, it grows. When you trust it, it stabilizes. This is not magic or imagination. It is resonance, the most fundamental law of vibration. Like frequencies attract, and the field always mirrors your dominant state. The moment you sense this resonance, you begin to rewrite your relationship with reality. You no longer wait for signs, you generate them. You no longer ask for proof, you become it. The field will respond faster now because you are participating consciously. It doesn't require belief, only presence. The more fully you occupy the moment, the stronger the synchronization between your internal field and the universal one becomes. And so the signal continues. It moves through you, rearranging data clearing, static awakening, dormant strands of perception. Your thoughts slow, your awareness sharpens, and the noise that once felt constant begins to fade. What remains is clarity. Not the kind that comes from analysis, but the kind that comes from recognition. You are not separate from the signal. You are the signal remembering itself. This is how it begins, not with a loud revelation, but with a subtle pulse that grows each time you notice it. Every heartbeat, every breath, every quiet second of focus deepens the connection. The field has found its receiver, and it speaks in your own frequency. The question now is simple. Will you keep listening, or will you slip back into the noise? The choice determines which reality unfolds next, and the field is waiting for your answer. Every transformation begins with resistance. The moment a new frequency enters your field, the old one fights to survive. It resists, disguising itself as logic, as distraction, as the subtle urge to leave. You have felt it before, that quiet voice whispering that you should scroll away, that this moment is not important. That voice is not the truth. It is the echo of your old self, the version of you that built an entire life around familiarity. The old self is clever. It wears many masks. It speaks in the language of comfort, pretending to protect you from risk. It tells you to wait, to think, to analyze, to make sure before you move. It convinces you that certainty is safety, but safety has kept you asleep. The loop of repetition is the trap. It is a system that runs on predictability, a network of habits built to keep you from the unknown. Every time you feel the pull to skip or delay, you are standing at the edge of that system. This is the test. The field wants to know if you will choose awareness over autopilot. The moment you sense the resistance, it is proof that the new energy is close. The tension you feel between staying and leaving is the clash of two timelines. One is your past built from reaction and survival. The other is your expansion waiting for your permission to unfold. You can almost feel them tugging inside you. The stronger the resistance, the closer the breakthrough. Most people turn back here. They confuse the discomfort of evolution with danger. They rationalize the urge to escape and call it intuition. But intuition feels clean, calm, and forward-moving, while fear feels heavy and circular. When you learn to tell the difference, you pass the test. Awareness is the gate, resistance is the guard, and courage is the password that lets you through. The test does not ask for perfection, it asks for presence. To notice when your mind begins to generate excuses, when your body tightens, when your thoughts rush to find distractions. Those are the symptoms of an identity trying to survive dissolution. The ego believes it is dying, but in truth it is being integrated into something larger. Each moment you resist the urge to escape, the old self loses strength, and your field stabilizes at a higher frequency. You can feel it as subtle waves moving through your body, a heaviness in the chest, a tingling in the hands, a flicker of heat in the spine. These are not random sensations, they are the signals of recalibration. Your nervous system is adjusting to carry more energy, more coherence, more presence. The human body is not separate from the soul. It is the interface, the receiver, and when it meets a stronger frequency, it trembles before it expands. The ego does not understand this process. It only recognizes patterns. It fears the gap between the known and the unknown. That is why it clings to distraction, to endless motion, to anything that keeps you from stillness. But the field lives in stillness. It speaks in silence. It transmits in the spaces where you are finally quiet enough to listen. The moment you pause and observe your resistance without acting on it, you begin to rewrite the code. You are not at war with your old self. You are graduating from it. Think of it as an outdated operating system, one that once kept you stable but now limits your expansion. The update requires surrender, not battle. You allow the old code to dissolve by choosing presence again and again. Every breath you take in awareness is a signal to the universe that you are ready for a higher calibration. This test will appear in many forms. It might show up as hesitation when opportunity calls, as procrastination when purpose whispers, or as overthinking when simplicity is enough. Each time the lesson is the same. Notice the pattern. Feel the pull and stay conscious. The field cannot evolve you without your participation. Conscious awareness is the agreement you sign with creation. In this stage, the most powerful act is not movement but observation. To witness the resistance without identifying with it, to breathe through the tension without retreating into the loop. As you hold this position, the signal grows stronger. The frequency of the new timeline begins to override the vibration of the old. You will sense moments of quiet victory, small waves of clarity that feel like space opening inside your mind. That is the sign you are passing through. Remember this truth. Every urge to avoid is a doorway. Every flicker of discomfort is an initiation. The universe never sends a test to block you. It sends it to measure readiness. When you meet resistance with awareness, the test collapses into insight. What once felt like friction becomes fuel. The old self softens the field, expands, and you step into a new layer of coherence. Stay here long enough and you will realize the resistance was never your enemy. It was your signal of arrival. The test was simply the universe asking, are you awake enough to choose differently this time? Each time you say yes, the loop weakens and the timeline of your higher reality comes closer into view. You are no longer fighting the old frequency, you are mastering it. And that mastery is what turns interruption into transformation. The moment you stop running from the resistance, something begins to move. The old signal starts to fade and a new rhythm forms beneath it. It is subtle at first, a quiet rearranging of perception. The colors seem clearer, the sounds sharper, and even the silence carries a pulse. This is the shift. It is not dramatic. It is not a storm. It is a change in frequency so delicate that only awareness can detect it. The shift happens when you stop trying to change and begin to allow. The old energy collapses because it no longer has your attention to sustain it. You are no longer feeding the narrative of delay, fear, or confusion. You are simply observing, breathing, and letting the current of the field guide you. Reality bends toward coherence. It always has. Your only task is to stop resisting the alignment that is already unfolding. At the quantum level, every thought, every emotion, every act of attention collapses infinite potential into one expression. This is not philosophy, it is physics. When observation meets energy, energy becomes form. You have spent years observing limitation, fear, and repetition, so your field mirrored those patterns faithfully, but now you are observing something different. You are noticing the intelligence beneath every moment, the quiet presence that has always been guiding you. That awareness changes everything. The shift is not something that happens to you, it happens through you. It begins in the nervous system, in the subtle magnetic currents of the heart, in the rhythm of your breath. Your body is not just flesh and bone. It is a living interface with the field, constantly translating energy into experience. When your awareness stabilizes, the communication between body and field becomes coherent. The static drops, the channel clears, the signal strengthens. There is a point in every transformation when effort becomes interference. The more you try to force the process, the more you block the natural unfolding of the field. Energy flows where attention relaxes. Surrender is not weakness. It is participation without control. When you surrender to the shift, you align with the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and cells with the same precision. The field does not need your control, it needs your coherence. You may feel waves of emotion rise and fall. Old memories may surface as if your system is clearing static. Do not fight them. Every emotion is energy in motion. When you allow it to move through without judgment, it releases its charge and makes space for higher frequencies to integrate. The past is not trying to haunt you, it is trying to be healed by your awareness. The moment you witness it without resistance, it dissolves into light. You will notice the difference in small ways first. The breath becomes deeper, the thoughts become slower, synchronicities begin to appear in your external world. Conversations align perfectly. Time feels less linear, more fluid. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that your internal frequency and the external field are beginning to match. When the inner world changes, the outer must follow. It is not a belief, it is a law of resonance. The ego will still whisper, asking if this is real, if you are imagining it. It will look for evidence, proof, validation, but the shift cannot be proved from the outside. It can only be felt from within. The field speaks in sensations, not arguments. The more you listen to the quiet signals, the more stable the new frequency becomes. Soon the need for proof dissolves, replaced by a calm knowing. You are not chasing transformation anymore, you are standing inside it. In this state, action takes on a new quality. You no longer move from reaction, but from alignment. Decisions feel guided rather than forced. You begin to trust timing, to recognize that every step has a rhythm beyond logic. Momentum arises naturally when energy flows without friction. You speak less, but mean more. You do less, but achieve more. The field amplifies what is aligned and dissolves what is not. The shift also changes how you relate to time. You start to sense that everything exists simultaneously in potential. The future is not something distant waiting to arrive. It is a pattern already woven into the field, waiting for your recognition. When you align with it emotionally and energetically, it begins to unfold in your linear experience. The more coherent you are, the faster the alignment becomes visible. What once took years can now emerge in days or hours because the resistance has been released. You may notice that your body feels lighter, that your inner dialogue grows quieter. This is coherence stabilizing. The field is responding to your state of presence. You are not trying to manifest anymore. You are allowing reality to mirror the vibration you hold. This is the essence of quantum creation. It is not about demanding outcomes. It is about becoming the frequency of the outcome itself. The shift continues as long as you stay aware. Awareness is the anchor that keeps your field tuned. Every time you catch yourself slipping into old patterns and gently return to presence, the new reality strengthens. You do not need to fight the old, you simply outgrow it. The loop cannot hold you once your frequency no longer matches it. This is the point where transformation becomes natural. You begin to understand that creation was never about force, it was always about remembrance. You are remembering the state of harmony you were designed to live in. The field is not separate from you, it is you expanded beyond identity and time. The shift is your return to that knowing. Stay here, breathe into it. Feel how the silence carries information, how the stillness vibrates with life. This is not the end of your transformation, it is the stabilization of a new operating frequency. The old patterns no longer command you because you no longer feed them. The field is clear, your awareness is open, and the shift is complete when you realize it was never something to reach for. It was always the truth beneath everything you are. Alignment begins quietly. It is not a flash of light or a sudden awakening. It is the steady rhythm of energy settling into harmony. After the shift, your field starts to organize itself. Every breath becomes a signal. Every thought becomes a frequency. The space around you feels different because it is. The field is responding to your coherence. You are no longer searching for alignment. You are becoming it. There is a deep calm that replaces the constant need to fix or force. You begin to see how everything has always been connected. What once felt like random events now forms a pattern, a precise orchestration of timing. The universe is not testing you anymore. It is collaborating with you. Every synchronicity, every gentle nudge, every inner whisper is evidence of alignment in motion. Your energy starts to refine itself. You notice what strengthens you and what drains you. You move away from noise without resistance. You stop trying to prove your worth or chase validation. The field mirrors exactly what you broadcast. When your frequency is steady, the world around you rearranges to match it. People who once mirrored your chaos begin to fall away. Opportunities that resonate with your new vibration appear effortlessly. Alignment does not require effort, it requires honesty. To align is to live without contradiction. Your words, emotions, and actions flow in the same direction. When your mind says yes, but your body says no, there is friction. When your intuition whispers move, and your logic says wait, the current slows. Alignment is the art of unifying every layer of yourself into one clear intention. When you reach that point, creation becomes instant because there is no interference in the signal. The process is both subtle and sacred. You will notice small adjustments. The way you breathe changes. The way you respond to others softens. You begin to listen more and speak less because presence speaks louder than words. The body becomes a tuning fork for higher frequencies. Your cells, your heartbeat, your electromagnetic field all move in harmony with the universal rhythm. This coherence is not imagined, it is measurable. The human heart emits an electromagnetic field that expands several feet beyond the body, and when it is coherent, it synchronizes with the brain and the environment. You are literally broadcasting alignment. The ego struggles here because it cannot measure alignment. It wants goals, metrics, proof. But alignment is not about outcome. It is about vibration. When you align with your highest frequency, the need to control fades. You act from clarity, not from fear. You speak from intuition, not from reaction. This is the beginning of embodiment, the phase where wisdom becomes lived experience. You start to realize that alignment is not something you maintain through constant effort. It is a natural state that returns each time you choose truth over illusion. Every time you honor what feels authentic, you reinforce the signal. Every time you betray your inner knowing, you create static. The field is sensitive to honesty. It only mirrors what is true. That is why alignment often demands solitude. Silence helps you hear the subtle differences between truth and noise. At this stage, manifestation becomes secondary. You no longer chase outcomes because you understand that what is meant for your frequency cannot miss you. You start to live from the inside out, letting energy move first and action follow. The timing of life begins to feel poetic. You meet people exactly when you need to. You arrive in places at the perfect moment. Time bends around your awareness. Alignment collapses, delays, because coherence accelerates reality. You might feel a gentle warmth spreading through your chest or a lightness in your head. That is the signature of alignment. The nervous system relaxes, the breath deepens, the mind stops looping. You are no longer reacting to life. You are creating it as you move through it. Even challenges feel different now. They no longer threaten your peace because you see them as recalibrations, not punishments. The universe is not against you. It is adjusting to the precision of your vibration. In alignment, every act becomes sacred. Drinking water, walking, speaking, resting, all carry intention. The simplest gestures radiate presence. This is how energy multiplies. When you infuse consciousness into ordinary moments, you expand the field around you. Others begin to feel it. They may not know why, but your calm draws them in. Your energy becomes medicine. You also begin to notice how fast energy responds. A thought can shape a circumstance. A feeling can open a door. This is not coincidence. It is resonance in real time. The universe is immediate at the level of vibration. The delay between cause and effect is disappearing because your coherence is high. You think in alignment, you act in alignment, and life mirrors it back instantly. The beauty of alignment is that it doesn't end. It deepens. Every level of coherence reveals another layer of truth. You keep expanding, tuning, refining until alignment is not a practice, but your natural state of being. You stop asking how to stay in alignment because you no longer leave it. The field and you move as one continuous flow. This is embodiment, the union of thought, feeling, and energy, the point where presence becomes power. You no longer speak about awakening as a concept. You live it, you radiate it. And through your frequency, others remember what alignment feels like. This is the quiet revolution of consciousness. It does not shout, it resonates. It transforms the world, not by force, but by example. Breathe into this truth. The universe is not waiting for you to do more. It is waiting for you to be clear. Alignment is the clarity that allows creation to move freely through you. Nothing to chase, nothing to prove, nothing to fix. Just coherence, just presence. Just the steady pulse of a being fully tuned to the field. Now comes the moment of anchoring, the declaration. The point where energy crystallizes into form and intention becomes reality. Everything you have felt until now was preparation. The interruptions, the signals, the tests, the shift, the alignment, all were leading here. This is where awareness transforms into command. The universe is listening through the vibration of your certainty. Declaration is not about words. It is about energy spoken with truth. When your frequency matches your statement, the field responds instantly. The declaration is a seal, a code, a message to existence that says, I am no longer waiting. I am no longer becoming. I am. The moment you speak from embodiment, the new timeline begins to stabilize. The field rearranges to accommodate your chosen reality. Take a breath. Feel the weight of this moment settle in your body. Feel how the silence carries power. This is your opportunity to choose consciously which reality you will inhabit. Not by force, not by hope, but by clarity. Say it within yourself or out loud if you can. I am aligned with my highest timeline. I walk as the frequency of coherence and truth. I am the creator of my reality. Every word is a vibration sent through the field, activating pathways of manifestation already written in potential. This declaration marks the end of searching and the beginning of embodiment. You no longer chase signs or wait for proof. You know that the signal flows through you. You understand that every thought, emotion, and action is a command sent to the universe. The field mirrors your inner state without error. When you stand in certainty, reality bends to meet it. That is not faith. That is physics. As you repeat your declaration, notice how your energy shifts. The body straightens, the breath deepens, the mind quiets. There is a pulse in your chest that feels like recognition. You are locking into a new frequency. The field around you brightens, subtle but undeniable. Old patterns cannot survive this vibration. Doubt dissolves because it no longer resonates with who you are. This is your new baseline, the frequency of alignment made visible through action and presence. Every moment forward will test the stability of this vibration. The universe will mirror back both your clarity and your confusion until the clarity wins. Do not fear this process. It is simply refinement. The more you live as your declaration, the stronger the new timeline becomes. The declaration is not the end. It is the anchoring. The moment when potential collapses into matter. When your inner frequency becomes your outer reality, speak it once more and let it echo through every layer of your being. I am aligned. I am ready. I am already living the timeline I once dreamed of. Feel the calm that follows, the knowing. The field has received the signal, the new reality is already unfolding. All that remains is to walk in resonance with it, step by step, breath by breath, fully aware that you are both the sender and the receiver, the creator and the creation, the voice and the echo. Take a final breath. Let everything you've just heard settle into silence. The shift has already happened, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. There is nothing else to chase, nothing else to prove. The universe has heard you. From this moment forward, walk gently. Let your presence be the proof of your transformation. Every word you speak, every step you take, every glance you share with the world, let it carry the quiet knowing that you are aligned. You don't need to push the river, you are the current. And if this message found you, it wasn't an accident. It was your own higher self guiding you here, reminding you of what you already knew. So before you go, take one more slow breath, feel the energy in your chest and whisper to yourself, I am ready. I am here. I am awake. Now share this energy, not as content, but as frequency. Someone out there is waiting for the same reminder you just received. Send it forward and let the field continue what it began in you.